So I did a nice little report today. Spent an hour and a half of my time doing some research. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis, but I actually recorded it instead of just keeping it up in here. Just trying to be a little bit more productive with my time, I guess. So what did I do? Write 8 pages worth of notes on as the debt of the United States, and what the average household is at $134,643 in debt. And the thing is that the average household income is, the average household income is $73,298. There's a big problem there, as the debt is damn near twice as much as a person's income, and that comes down to these key items, which account for our national debt, or not the national debt, for the national personal debt. So, $779 billion in credit cards and in credit, personal loans, this, that, and the other. Actually, correction, not personal loans. That's in a different category. So that's just credit card. That's just borrowing money that people give us, that people believe that we can pay back. So we're at $779 billion for credit cards. Mortgages is at $8.48 trillion. That's $8.048 billion. Auto loans is at $1.16 trillion. $1.016 billion. Student loans is at, well, this number is definitely off, but according to this information, it's $1.31 trillion. So there's probably better numbers than this out there, because the student loan is actually double that at this point in time. And it's just kind of crazy, because this was calculated by the United States Census Bureau. Anyways, we'll go with these numbers. So $1.31 trillion in student loan debt, and then any other debt, such as personal loans, title loans, paycheck loans, whatever. It's at $12.58 trillion. So $12.058 billion. That's where we are in money, our personal money. The issue with all this is that the cost of living from 2003 to 2016 has gone up by 58%, whereas the standard income has only increased by 28%, which this makes for a very bad economic situation, as we're not earning as much as it costs to live. This is a big problem, and we'll just continue on. And the fact is that the Fed wants to raise rates another 3 times this year, at least 2 times this year. And then the issue is that they're having problems doing that because, well, the economy is not nearly as strong as they've been saying. And if they do not raise interest rates, what this is going to do is send fear to the market, because after all this time, the numbers are not going to lie. And look, we can only keep a lid on this for so long, and this is how it's all going to come down, is because we're not going to be able to raise interest rates, because our economy is not strong. The thing is, too, with Trump putting these taxes, these import taxes on German-made European vehicles, well, all that's going to do is just hurt the consumer in the end, because we're going to be paying all these unnecessary fees, and where's that money going? It's not going to be going to us. And what this does is agitate the fertile ground of fair trade. I need to do this in parts, huh? So, and I got, this information also from Peter Schiff. I was also NerdWallet, a few places where I got my sources. So, went over that, but no, it's the interest consumer economy and shows. And okay, so also with this what's gonna happen is the dollar's gonna get weaker, and people are not going to be buying things, and so especially because the prices are going to be inflated, because the businesses and corporations are trying to make some profits because they're taking a huge loss right now. And the thing is that the first thing they're going to be doing is closing down stores and doing layoffs. And by doing that, then that's hurting the economy, and they're going to keep on raising prices. And more people are not going to be able to afford this stuff because they don't have work, and they don't know when they're going to get work again. And this is how everyone starts fighting for a piece of bread. And so, let me just kind of, because I actually, wrote this. This is just a brief summary of some of the stuff I just covered that I wrote out. And I guess this is a nice place to leave it off to. Well, who knows? So, in light of the evidence I've already provided, I can conclude that if Trump's plan it is Trump's plan to corrupt the finances of other nations, force them to go into debt consolidation. Being that the U.S. dollar is traded in bonds to other nations as securities for their debts, the nation on top, the United States of America, will be last to catch the fallout of the currency nuclear explosion. We've already seen, we've already seen with the EU how certain entities are already preparing for the up-and-coming global recession, where a globalized currency system is developed, resetting the world's debt. Basically, this is to the need for a one world currency, one world bank, one world trade agreement, or something of that nature. Maybe that's an extreme, but it's going to be something of that nature if we're going to be going into economic reset, just to forgive everyone's debt, because everything is just kind of corrupt. Excuse me. So we see with all the military growth, exercises, and movement that certain nations are getting mission ready for what? I have a solid guess, as I provided. So yeah, and that's the thing too, is real quick with the household income and whatnot, it's the numbers kind of fluctuate drastically just because there's so much information that goes into it. So here's some other numbers. What is it? Census. Okay, and so this other census information, this goes to the tax filing, whereas married filed joint is at $117,795 annual income. Married filed separately is $64,819. Head of household is $35,876. Widow or widower is $57,577, and single is $39,940, or it might be for $34,940. Scribble there. And disclosed that the numbers are kind of a little bit to the extremes and whatnot, just because there's so much that goes into it, and it's really hard to get a solid number of what we can ballpark it pretty well. And so, basically, as I'm saying, that we're, all this evidence does is prove that we are debt slaves. 73% of consumers die with debt. That definitely confirms that we're debt slaves, that we're imprisoned to debt, and that's financial maneuverability is what freedom is all about, financial freedom. Money is a representation of our time and labor, and if we do not have money, that means that we don't exercise our time and labor correctly, which is why we're shunned upon. And that's the thing, is that we're a debt-based economy, but we're fiat-based, meaning that our money is backed by the by the faith and let's see, where is it? Backed by full faith and credit of the United States government, because we borrow money from the Federal Reserve, promising that we'll pay that money back. But the thing is, we pay that money back with interest. And the thing is, where does the interest come from? Well, we don't get the loan. We have to take out another loan for the interest. And the thing is, it's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. It seems like we're, doing a pretty good job of being in debt, so we don't have that much credit. And cover that. And just kind of reiterate that point of, full faith and credit of the United States government. They want to shut down on us, right? Oh yeah, but just because they can't agree on the betterment of, because their egos get in the way. So, the average, U.S. citizen debt is, with a home loan, is $61,534. Without it is $12,875, and this is collected from Experience File 1 database. And what this comes down to is that, okay, so the debt tax doesn't really affect the lower class or anybody like that. Only in the higher echelon, those that have this money that's not recirculated, it's hoarded. That's where the debt tax comes into play. And the thing is that they don't have debt. That's why they get taxed. Whereas people, they pass down their debt. Us commoners, we pass down our debt. There is no debt forgiveness. And if a person has the assets, if someone in their family, in a person's family, has assets to a loved one who passed, then the debt collectors will come after that person because they have the resources. And so it's better to be poor when someone dies than if they have money than if they don't. And that's how things will get passed down from generation to generation. And the thing is, just to, what it comes down to is tangible goods are the only thing that's going to mean anything when it comes down to it. Food, water, the necessities, first aid, that's what matters. And I'm not saying, but precious metals are not going to mean much. And Fidelity's, getting involved in cryptocurrency now, and that's what I'm saying, is that there's a lot of pieces moving around. And the thing is, Bitcoin, Fidelity is mining Bitcoins, and Bitcoin is a representation of the United States dollar. It's a digital form of it. And so the money is going everywhere. And the thing is that the dollar, it's at like 93 and some change. And I'm telling you, the dollar's a lot weaker than that. I'd say it's, in the high 80s. But, And that's the thing, is that the cyber age has create a whole new universe. Well, now we're still learning and trying to figure out. Hence, why this malware attack and all these things keep on shutting down is because people created something that they do not understand. And so, how long before we start to see the repercussions of the evils that we're initiating today? We're rapidly evolving faster, or technology is rapidly evolving faster than people can even interpret it. And we're seeing the divide in how social media is really anti-social media. And so yeah, Zero Hedge reported on the 24th of May that CEO Abigail Johnson of Fidelity that at the CoinDesk Consensus Conference that her company is now in the business of mining bitcoins. And the problem with this is that cryptocurrency was created against the central bank, and now the central banks are trying to get in on that action. And so we have a little bit of an issue here. And if these people create it, then there's probably a way to destroy it. Run out of battery in a second, but my point, what are we working for in the next decade is what we're paying for in the last decade. Decade's debt. Tangible goods hold value and will only gain worth. Avoid financial investments and finances. Stay away from the money exchanges. Don't trade money expecting to get more money back. That's also known as gambling. Invest in ideas, people, yourself, survival of some sort, all right? So thanks for listening. I'm sorry that was a little bit sloppy. I just did that a few hours ago. Like I said, just wrote it all down, and I kind of know what I'm talking about just a little bit. And so I just wanted to share. Thank you.